Hi, welcome to the fourth live on the KeyLive series. Today we are happy to show some getting started steps on jBPM. Before that, I am Karina Varela. I work for Red Hat, and the KeyLive series is a community effort to bring you knowledge about all the projects under the Key umbrella like Autoplanner, Drules, jBPM, and Cogito. Today, I have here with me William Siqueira, who is a software engineer at Red Hat. Welcome, William. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing great. Thank you, Karina.
That is good. Thank you for accepting the invite of sharing knowledge on how to get started with this exciting technology that is jBPM. jBPM is around for more than 10 years, right, William?
Yes, I think it started in 2007. So it's a very old, not old in the means that you have to use old APIs, but it's a very mature project.
It is very mature and used in production in many customers around the world. So,
Exactly.
I'm excited to see what you will have today, William. So you shared with me the slide decks before the presentation, and I will share the link with you who's watching us now, so you can check it up and follow along if you want, okay? So, William, go ahead. It's your show. I'll be here with you. I'll bring questions from the participants as we go through. And I'll be here just interrupting you as usual and talking to you, okay?
Okay. Okay, so let me start the presentation here. And first of all, thank you, Karina, for putting all this together, for making this possible. And as Karina said, we will be making a getting started with jBPM. It's not a deep introduction to jBPM, it's just to see how you can start doing business process with it, build the application with it. About me, I'm software engineer at Red Hat. I'm also a Jug Valley contributor. We have a local Jug where I contribute, organizing our conference and things like that. We also have an open data group, which is not so active, but we still have it, and a few times we do some stuff with our group. I also blog a lot in my blogs, and I give talks in a lot of conference. And I'm also an open source guy. All my code you can find on github.com/Jesuino. So today we will talk about the tool, what jBPM is about. Then we will talk about the different ways to run jBPM. Then we'll talk how do you create stuff to run on jBPM. Finally, we will install jBPM, show different ways you can install it, and then we'll explore the tool itself. I hope the slides will take less than 10 minutes so we can go straight to jBPM to start doing cool stuff there. Okay, so about jBPM. As Karen said, jBPM is a toolkit for for building business applications. It's a very mature project. It has more than 10 years already. And jBPM is not alone. It integrates with other projects under the Key umbrella, Drules, Optabrain, and Cogito. So jBPM is part of this ecosystem. And jBPM specifically, it is used to manage business process and things related to business process like case management. And you can call from jBPM, you can call GMN rules or GRL rules, or even call Optaplanner, call solvers from jBPM. And jBPM uses standards from OMG. So this is very important because you are not putting your business on some private tool or some tool that is specific to a company. This is all that jBPM do is make it possible to use open standards like BPMN, DMN, and others.
This is great, William. And it's important to note that we are also members of the DMN group, so we are of the standards. So we have engineers on there, just making sure we have the most up-to-date support for the specs.
Exactly. So let's say, think about this. If you invest on these open standards, the investment is on something that's open, that you can later go to other tools if you want. Of course, you will not want to go away from DPM because it's great, but you are investing mostly on open standards, which is great for companies that want to have long-term systems. Okay, so how do you run jBPM? In the Developer way is to embed it in your Java application. So jBPM have libraries. So you can bring libraries inside your application and call Java methods that will run the engine. For example, you can create right now in Spring-based app going to start.jbpm.org and then start developing. And other way is you only focus on your business and then create a project and package this project and put it on a server. So the server will be responsible to manage the life cycle of the processes. And also another way that's not here, but we will not be talking today is Cogito, where you develop business first and then you have all the code related stuff will be generated for you. But today we will be focusing more on these two ways of doing jBPM. Okay, so I mentioned a server, and what server you run your jBPM applications? The server is KeyServer. And what is KeyServer? It's a very simple Java web application. By very simple, I mean that it's small and it can run on different application servers. For example, you can run on Wildfly, with I suggest, because most of the things in Wildfly is you will find more material about Wildfly in KeyServer, so I suggest to use Wildfly. And how it works, you basically put your application inside KeyServer, and then it expose the process and rules to be available through REST or JMS APIs. So you don't care about building the infrastructure to run your business process. You install on KeyServer, and then you access it from the external world using APIs.
That's
So
true. William, just to add to this, KeyServer can also run on Spring Boot, right? Yeah, because
the good question, because
it can run on Spring Boot, because so if you go to start.jbpm.org and you download it, you will already get an out-of-the-box installation with Spring Boot. So that's also interesting if you were a Spring user.
Yes. I mean, the way that I use to is the war way, but I know that the Spring community around jBPM is very strong as well. So
Thank you.
I never personally tried, because I like the old way of having a war and deploy to the application server, good old days. So how do you transform your business process into something that you can put on KeyServer? Basically, you package your business assets in a jar, which is a zip file, a special zip file, and we call it kjar because it will have a specific descriptor. So KeyServer will know what you have inside your jar, and also you'll know how to manage the life cycle of your application. So just think about package everything in a zip file, just to make it easy to think about it. And then you will install these things on KeyServer, and KeyServer will expose it as key containers. It will be clear when we go to the business central. So you will see what I talk about container and project and stuff. But once it's installed there, you can start interacting with KeyServer using REST or JMS APIs. The REST APIs is very well documented. We have a Swagger UI, so you can see everything that KeyServer is capable of. So moving on. So now, once you have KeyServer set up, how you will talk to it? You have two ways basically to talk to KeyServer. One way is talking directly to the KeyServer installation. So let's say you have something running on localhost 88, and you start sending requests directly to KeyServer on localhost 88. This is the so-called unmanaged way, where KeyServer is by itself, so you have to talk to it to do stuff. Or you can delegate the managing of the KeyServer to a controller. So you talk to the controller will talk to KeyServer. This is great when you want to, for example, install container to several KeyServer. So let's say you have the same container that have your business process, and you know that it will have a high load. So you can start several KeyServers to run the same container, and it will scale. You can scale the execution of the business process by having a controller. Of course, you can do this as well on the first mode, but it will be a little harder. So because you have to manage what KeyServer is up, where the containers are. With a container, you have an overview what is installed on each key server you have. So also controller is an open API. It's a REST API, so you can create your own. But I do suggest to use Business Central, and you know why right now. So what is this Business Central thing? Business Central is also a web application, and it has an author environment. What is it? The author environment allows you to create the business stuff we talked already. We talked about BPMN, GRL, and other stuff. So it is possible to create it in Business Central. It's a web application, as I said, and not only this, it can also allow. It also allows you to manage the business process that are running on the key servers and monitor the execution. So how do Business Center organize stuff? First of all, we have the group of projects called space. So in a space, you can edit how many projects you want. So here I have my space and 3 projects inside it. And each project have a lot of assets that you can create, and not a lot. If you want, it can have a lot, but there are a lot of possible type of assets. So the project that is in the space, it's a Maven project for Java programmers. Each project is a Git repository. I think on the last call, it was on the last meeting, not the last one, I think 2 weeks ago. It was discussed about Git hooks. That's
You are
possible
right.
because that's possible because the projects are Git repositories. So this is really great. So you can see everything that's done in the project as a form of commit. So you can undo things. You can put the code that is inside Business Central in a node installation that supports Git. So for example, you can put it on GitHub or GitLab. And the project itself, this is more technical, but the project is a Maven project, which means that everything you see, you can package then using Maven to create the so-called KJAR, what the thing we talked a few slides earlier. So yeah, and Business Central is also a KeyServer controller. So with Business Central, you can configure the KeyServer to connect to Business Central. So for example, here I have one server connected to my Business Central and 2 projects deployed to it. But I could have a lot of key servers here. So since today our goal is get started, I won't be talking about this, but we can have other talks, Karina, about how to add a lot of key servers and manage a lot of projects on key servers. I think it's very cool to see that. And this way of key server communication with Business Central, it is cloud ready. I mean, you can run this on OpenShift, for example, because their key server will also be able to connect to Business Central, and you will be able to manage key server on a cloud environment like OpenShift. Okay, so also, as I said, in Business Central, you can manage business process. So you can start a business process. You can see the tasks. You can see what step it is now. You can see if there was an error. So everything related to business process is possible from KeyServer, from Business Central, sorry. And remember that when I talk about KeyServer, I only talk about REST JMS. It means that KeyServer has no web UI. It has no UI. So you have to access the APIs to make the process run inside there. But with Business Central, we have a lot of ways to interact with business process. You can even generate your own UI that will be displayed when you start the process or when you handle the business, the human tasks, which is another topic from the BPM onward. As I said, you can monitor the business process execution, and I mean it that you can monitor a specific process to see where it's stopped now, or you can see what is happening with all the processes in the key servers. Also, all the tasks and more ways to monitor what's happening in key server. Okay, so let's go to the installation. So stop talking. Let's start to talking about more practical things. So to get started and install the BPM, you have basically, and I mean, probably there are many other options, but from the top of my mind, from the ways I have done, you have 3 ways. So one is install everything manually. So you You download the Wildfly or any application server you want. You download the wars, you deploy, you configure users, you configure persistence that I didn't talk here, but everything goes to a database. We'll see it when we go to the practical part. Other way is to download the big bundle that has everything configured for you. And I think this is the best way to get started, because even if someday you want to go deep on the configuration, to get started, everything will be put together for you. So just go to jbpm.org and download this bundle. And other way is just run the Docker image we have. Just run this command here, and the jBPM server will be available for you in a few minutes. Okay, so how do you run the jBPM bundle? You need to have Java is the only requirement, and then you download the zip, you unzip it, you find the script to start it. On Linux is standalone.sh, on Windows standalone.bat, and then you wait the server to start, go to localhost 88/business central, and use some of the built-in users. We see this in practice in a few seconds. Okay, right now. So let's do some stuff here. Let's first of all show how would be the installation. What I did here, I have downloaded the zip. You can see this 7.39 because I took it from the Maven repository, but it's not released yet, but the steps would be the same. So you download the zip, you unzip it, and you go inside the folder you unzipped. You see a lot of things here going on. I know it scares a lot of people, but what you care about right now is just to run standalone.sh. And while it starts, let me show you what we have inside this bundle. So the first thing to notice is that it comes with users available out of box. So you find this file here, and inside that file have a lot of test users. So you don't have to add any user, administration user, things like that. You just use some of these users here. And if you check the deployments folder, you'll see that we have Business Central WAR, KeyServer WAR, and it is already configured to talk to each other. So you don't also have to spend your time on your first try, of course, doing this kind of configuration. We have also other applications here, the GPM case manager WAR, which we're not talking about today. And what configuration I mean that is done out of the box? I mean all this configuration here. So one may say that it's too complicated, and it's not too complicated. It's how can I say? It's flexible. It's a tool that's flexible, so you can run it in any environment you want and things like that. So, for example, KeyServer, the same KeyServer talks to the Business Central here, and you have to configure that. You have to configure KeyStore and other things that you may want to add according to your needs. So now it's started, I think. No, it's finished and started. Once it starts, we go to Business Central. Okay, it started. I use this built-in
I'm
user.
sorry, I was muted.
No
So while you were accessing it, I just like to do a quick review. So you just, if someone wants to try it, the person just needs to go into jbpm.org, download the zip, unzip it, and start Wildfly. Then there will be a Business Central and a KeyServer installed there out of the box for usage and try, right, William?
Yes, that's exactly. Anything you can go through the documentation, download this bundle, and start trying things you see in the documentation. So,
okay.
And also Business Central have a lot of sample projects, which is also great for you to see how things are together. So I'm running it for the first time. It's a little slow. And let's start exploring. For example, the projects, you go to projects, and you have in space, and you can add a new project or try example. Let's add a new one. Because we are crazy and like to do live things. Okay, so I have now the space, and the space has only one project, and this project we can start adding assets to this project. Let's start with a very simple hello world. I know people are tired of hello worlds. We'll explore better samples in a few seconds. So what I did, I went to the project, I create a new asset, which is of BPM in type, and here's the BPM editor. I can start creating my process here. I'll create a very simple hello world, like you all know how it works, right? We did this a lot of times in our life. So I imagine a task which is a more technical one, which is the script task. Let me add some process data here. It's nothing special when you, this is not related, this is not specific to BPM, this is the standard, and it is using the BPM standard. Let's Control S. Okay, so I create a very simple process, hello world, nothing too deep. I save it, but what I want to show you now is how do business centers manage this stuff behind the scenes. So if you go to, I think, if you go to the process again, reopen the process, you will be able to see that it is related to Git, for example. The project has a branch. You can create branches to manage the way you work, your workflow. Also, we can now deploy the projects. Shall we deploy? Let's try.
Yeah, let's deploy it. So when you hit the deploy button, Business Central will trigger on the backstage, let's put it like that, behind the scenes, a Maven build that will build this project into a jar, and then it will deploy it into the managed KeyServer that you will show in a while, right?
Exactly. So I don't know if deploy run. So let's show the servers.
Can you please check the logs, William? I think that there's something wrong in there.
Yeah, there's something wrong. Because I'm running the version that was not released, and I have to do that on the live talk. So this version
you are running 730, not 739?
Exactly. That's.
Oh yeah. So the new version of jBPM is about to be released this week. So, and you are already using it. So okay, I hope it works. You're crazy.
So here is KeyServer. As I said, it is connected to Business Central. So let's go back to our project. And I also went to the installation to do a lot of testing. So I messed with the configuration probably. So I click on this deploy button. As you can see here, I have only one process. This is a very simple project. And when I click it there, it is already deployed on KeyServer. And it's started, which means that it's ready to be used. So let's go here to process definitions. We can see here our hello process. We can start a new process instance. We can also, we will be presented with the process form, the process variables. And as I said, it's just print hello world on the console, nothing exciting. So we can also monitor the execution of the process. So if you go here to diagram, you can see what parts of the process was executed. You see here that everything that is in gray was executed, and we can monitor the execution of all the processes on your installation. I tried yesterday to see if everything was fine. So I ran this evaluation process, and today I ran their hello, which I just created. So you can see everything from Business Central. You don't need other applications to do any of these tasks. So now let's import a more exciting project. First of all, let me show a feature that I love a lot about Business Central, which is you can generate forms. I have not done this in a while. And you can edit the UI that will be displayed to the user. So I went to the business process. There's a button here that generates the form for the process. If we go here now, we have a form. and the form is generated according to the process variable. So if you modify anything here, you can, if you modify anything in the process, you can generate the form. With my great abilities to do CSS, let me do something really great here. Let's make this text really big. Anyway, anything you want to edit here, you will be able to see it when you do start the process again. So I just modified the form that is used to
And I
start the
think it's
process.
important to mention, William, regarding the forms, that it's good when you package it along with your business assets. So let's say your process changes, you add a new variable, your form needs to go along with your new process version. So it's going to be deployed along with your version, with your process, and you can consume it via REST if you want to embed it into an application. And we can do
Exactly.
a live about forms later, right?
Yeah, of course. And see, everything you do to the form will be available here on Business Central. So now, as I said, let me import some of the samples. Let's go to my space. I will add a new project. I will try some sample. I love this very simple sample that is come with jBPM for a few years already, the evaluation process. And I import a sample from the samples that we have built and tested on Business Central. So this is a very good way to get started as well. You can go with evaluation process. And what you will find here is a very simple but very interesting process. That's a little more complex than a hello world. So what this process goal is to evaluate employees. So an employee comes here and he starts to the evaluation process. And first he self-evaluates, and then we'll have the HR and the PM evaluation. So
So,
let's
William,
go ahead.
we unfortunately we are at the top of the hour. I think we should go for to answer some questions from the participants. I think it's good that you showed that we have
Mhm.
already some examples that they can see
Mhm.
in their local environment. If they don't have a project to start developing right now, they can see it
Mhm.
and run it, deploy it, and test it. See the dashboards too. Okay, so basically, William, could you share a little bit more about the relationship in between KeyServer and Business Central? There's someone asking, like, I hear KeyServer and Business Central a lot. So, what is the relationship in between these two?
Yeah, sure. So Business Central, it does not execute anything. It's just an alternate environment, and it is used to manage your process, your assets, including business process. And what's the relation between KeyServer and Business Central? KeyServer is the execution environment, and it's really important to make clear that you may not want to scale the autonomous environment as you want to scale the execution environment. So KeyServer will connect to Business Central, the autonomous environment, and Business Central will start managing key servers. And then you can start how many key servers you want to connect to Business Central and manage it from here. So key server is where you execute stuff. I'm going here to the UI. I'm starting a process, but this process is not inside Business Central. This process that I'm starting here, it's inside KeyServer. Business Central is just talking to KeyServer API to manage all the key servers we have there. So, and then show the results to us. So, for example, I just started a process. The process is running on KeyServer, but it looks like it's running on Business Central. But Business Central is just talking to KeyServer. So I'm saying it again. Business Central is to alter assets and monitor business process and manage business process. And KeyServer is the execution environment of this business process.
Good, excellent explanation. So there's another question here. This will be the last one. So we are because it's so short, so short presentation. We need more time on it. So we have a question. I'm a bit confused because BC Business Central is for authoring. So why do we need Business Central on each environment? Since I need because this is the thing. We were asked if Business Central should be used, one, to manage the key servers in dev, UAT, production, or have one Business Central per environment. My take on this question is simple. You don't open IntelliJ or VS Code or Eclipse and code in production. You code in development environment. So when you finish coding, you can just deploy on the other environments, and you can deploy via automated pipelines, or if you want, you can deploy it using manually by using Business Central. So this depends on your environment and how you usually take your applications to production. So I think this is my take on this.
Yes, I think it's. I would say the same thing. Business Central also have, the branch that I mentioned. This is something that I see a lot of users doing the branch management. So you can have a branch only for production here, and then push things to production, and then have all what you have in production going to the production Business Central. And also, when you have projects separated by environment, you can have the environment going crazily in the develop mode and more stable in production. So in production Business Center, we will see only assets that were passed already by a lot of revisions and things like that, and it's ready to be deployed. So I think
Uh,
it's important to divide environment as well.
Good, good. And just to finish and close up, we were also asked about how the integration works with the REST API of KeyServer. Could you please open another tab and show the Open API on KeyServer slash KeyServer slash docs? Yes. So KeyServer has all these APIs for you to interact with it. Once you develop your client application, you can call the REST API, or you can use the Key Java client that is also available out there. And we'll do a post about this later, so you can see an actual project invoking KeyServer in another JVM. So, would you like to add anything else, William?
Yes, I just wanted to also talk about the task management. So a business process have tasks, human tasks, where is the point that you as a human will talk to the automation, the process automate some business process, and you can also manage it from the business center UI as well. I mean, I
Nice.
have a lot to talk, but we don't have time. But we can schedule another one to talk more specific about some of these components.
Yeah, we should do one about user tasks. There's so much to talk about user tasks, right?
Yes, exactly.
So I would like to invite everyone, if you have questions and you want to share with us, feel free to join us on the Zulip chat. Let me send you the link. We are all in there. We, along with all the community, a lot of Red Hat engineers are also there. We will be happy to talk to you and help you solve your questions. So thank you, William, for joining us today.
Thank you, Karina, for putting this together, making this possible.
Sure. And thank you who watched us and you are, if you're still here, I hope you keep yourself and your family safe. See you on the next KeyLive. Bye bye.